I'm with you. Do I have to do all the hello everyone's again?
No, you can skip that out, Chris.
All right. Hello, everyone. Okay, I'm going to, no, what am I going to do? I'm going to share a slide again. Just bear with me. I'm having finger errors. Share screen. And that one. Share. Thank you for your patience. So now this one has got just 2 slides. There's that one, Understanding Diary Compositions, and my one and only slide. So we're just going to chat about this. All right. I just want to focus on Plain Bob Minor. Okay. So I had like 40 years worth of diaries, and then I just sort of stopped buying them because didn't find. Anyway, there we are. I'll tell you for why, because it used to be in the listing of associations, they used to just have it alphabetically. So ANZAC was first. And then they changed the listing of associations into all the UK ones first, and then the overseas ones after all the UK ones. So ANZAB basically got demoted. So I got the hump. Anyway, there's a lot in the front pages of the diary, and I just want to focus on one page because it helps to share. Oh, now what have I done? What happened then? Where did my screen go?
You're on the last.
Ah, that's what it was. Yeah. Oh, poop. Every time I click on it, it advances.
I think if you right click, you might get some options for your pointer.
Where? What? Sorry?
If you right click, you might get some options for your pointer. So you have like a laser pointer, and then when you click it, just that. Yeah. Pointer options. There you are.
Where? Ah. Oh. So what does laser pointer do?
It means that you can click. We just see a dot. Oh,
nice. Can you see the dot all right?
Yeah.
Terrific. Okay, well, look, I'm on page 42 of the 2017 diary. So Natalie was asking about the Plain Bob Doubles diagram earlier, the whole 120, and it was the whole 120 changes from start to finish, showing the treble hunting up and hunting down, and what happens at a plain lead and what happens at a bobbed lead. So that's, writing it out in full, if you like. Now, when it comes to how touches are presented in diaries and other things, they go for compression. They try and get them more as compact, to stuff as much information into as little space as possible. So the first casualty of that is generally the treble. So you look at all these touches and there isn't a treble. Right? And the reason they dump the treble is that for Plain Bob Minor is the treble's plain hunting. It's not effective. It's not a working bell. It doesn't add any value. So we'll just dump that. We'll get rid of it. So you think to yourself, what the heck is all this? There isn't a treble. And someone in their wisdom had decided back in the day that there's not much point because the treble's always going to be in first position. Why? Because we're not writing out every single row. Okay, now across this one page, there are 3 different kinds of notation. In this first column of touches, it's showing just the lead ends, Yeah, and in the first half of this column here, the second column, it's just the lead ends. But then life gets a little bit worse, if you like, a little bit more compressed. Because here, this 720 here, it isn't even doing that. It's only showing the affected lead ends. Yeah. So you think to yourself, oh, it looks as though there's a bob every lead, but it's not, because this number on the right is telling you something different. And then over here in these grids here, it's completely different again. But let me just start from top left. Okay, so what have we got here? The numbers in bold are the number of changes that are produced by this touch. So this is a touch of 36 changes. Here's a touch of 72 changes. Here's a touch of 108. Or if you put in a single, you double it to 216. So that's what that number in bold is. The first row, happily, is rounds. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, imagine there's a treble. Yep, there's an imaginary treble. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And this one is presented to you lead by lead. So there's a bob at the first lead end, bob at the second lead end, bob at the third lead end, and there's rounds again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in this style of notation, they put a horizontal line just above rounds, which is, you know, not very consistent, because you look on the right-hand side and they've got a horizontal line just below the starting rounds and just below the finishing rounds. So they're not very consistent, are they? But hey, that's bell ringers for you. So in this touch, it's just 3 bobs. That's easy, isn't it? And you'll see that because it's bob after bob after bob, the 2 runs in. So like, we don't need to know the other 11 changes. Yeah, so plain bob minor, 11/12 of it is plain hunt. Yeah, so you plain hunt for 11 changes, and then the 12th row of every lead is when all the fun happens. So all they're showing you here is every 12th row. And what's happened, the 2 has run in, the 3 has run out, and the 5's made 4ths. Next lead, there's another bob, 2 runs in, 3 runs out, 6 makes 4ths. And then another lead, another bob, 2 runs in, 3 runs out, 4 makes 4ths. So that's all. Yeah. So 2 and 3 have been plain hunting for 3 leads. That's pretty neat, isn't it? And that's 36 changes. And guess what? I can double that by making the last bob into a single. So instead of getting 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I get 1, 3, 2, 4, 5, 6. So I've reversed 2 and 3. And then, as it says underneath, repeat. And it's like a recipe, isn't it? You know, serving suggestion. So you think, you know, so somebody says, right, Natalie, could you call a short touch of bob minor, please? And Natalie says, yeah, sure. Look, here's one I looked up in the diary earlier. And you just do what the recipe says, and out pops a marvelous meal. So that's one style of notation. Here it is again. Here's another 72. And there are lots of variations on this, the 3 lead touch, by mixing up the singles and the bobs. Okay, and here's another one, the 108. So 2 bobs in a row and then a plain. Yeah, so bob, bob, plain. Why is it a plain? Because there's that little dash, which means bob, on the left is not there. So that's a plain lead. And so look, so that part end, 1, 3, 4, 2, 5, 6. So 5 and 6 are in their home position. Very nice. 2, 3, 4 from round up here has turned into 3, 4, 2. So it's cycled. Yeah. 2, 3, 4 becomes 3, 4, 2. So that's nice. It's cyclical. And it says, oh, repeat twice. Well, that makes sense because there are 3 bells that have cycled around. So I would imagine if I do it again, bob lead, plain lead, they would cycle again the same way. And so 3, 4, 2 would then become 4, 2, 3. And then I do it again, bob lead, plain lead, and 4, 2, 3 will cycle through and become 2, 3, 4. So that's why it says repeat twice. Yeah. And what a surprise, if I do the 108 and put in a single at that plain lead at the end and then repeat, it'll be 216. So you think to yourself, all right, I've done this 108. The bride still hasn't arrived. The buzzer hasn't gone off. So let's just double it and see what happens. Yeah. Okay. Similarly, the 240 here. This one kind of relies on counting. So bob at the first lead, a couple of plains, and then a bob at the 4th lead. So bob, plain, bob, bob, plain, bob, bob, plain, bob, bob, plain, bob. And interestingly, it sort of bounces in and out of the plain course every iteration. Yeah, so that's quite a fun one also. But there's no observation bill. Everybody's got a bit of fun in that one. Okay. This one here, 120 changes. That's handy. So you see the 6 is in 5th position at the call. Yeah, so it's in its wrong position. And then there's a plain. Yeah, and again, so that part end 3, 6, 2, 4, 5. Well, it is cyclical, but nobody's in their home position. Everybody's moved around. Yeah. So that's why you'd have to do it 4 times. So how many times? Total of 5 times. Yeah. So basically Bob, plane, Bob, plane, Bob, plane, Bob, plane. And then it'll come around. Yeah. Okay. And similarly, these ones in the top of the second column here, 108 and 720. So it's showing you every lead, the plane leads and the bobbed leads and the single leads. Yeah, so that one starts in rounds, finishes in rounds. This one here, this 720 starts in rounds, and the part end 3, 5, 2, 6, 4. Again, it's cyclical, but there's nobody back in their home position, so everybody's affected. So you have to do it 4 times, repeat 4 times. So that's one notation. Now this one down here is using a more compressed notation. And it's only showing you the affected lead. So it's assumed, like we've assumed that the treble's at the front at a lead end, so we dump the treble, so we don't see the treble. And in this one, it assumes, well, what's the point of putting in the plane leads because they're plain? So I'm just going to notate the rows where there's a bob or a single. Yeah. And so what do they mean over here? 3, 5, 5, 1, 5, 5, 1, 5. It's the number of leads between each call. Yeah. So how do I understand what this means? And when I was first learning, I got this completely wrong. I thought it was at the 3rd lead, then the 5th lead, then the 5th lead from the beginning. But it's actually in relation to the previous call. So I start off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, go plain bob minor. And I let 2 plain leads go by. And the 3rd lead is where I make a call. Yeah. So that's what the 3 means. Yeah, so I've got a plain, bob, the 3rd lead. And then it says, oh, you've got to wait another 5. All right, so I've got to count 4, plain, 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 plain. And then at the 5th lead after that previous bob, then I say bob again. Yeah. And another 5 leads before the next one. And then another one straight away, 1. Okay, so bob up at 5 leads and then a bob the very next lead. And then I wait another 5 leads, then I wait another 5 leads, and then another one straight there. And then I wait. Well, 5 leads is a plain course. Yeah, you've got 5 leads in the plain course. So you're leaving a whole course between these calls. Now, interestingly, it gives you a little handy hint for this one, this 720 down the bottom here. The 3rd is a good observation. What do they mean? What's that all about? Well, so the 3 starts in 3rd place at the beginning, and halfway, yeah, 360 here. This row is 360 changes. The 3 is back in its home position. Yeah, it's in 3rd place. And notice as I look down this column, all right, so the first 3 calls, so plain, bob, then a whole plain course, bob, another whole plain course, bob. You see the 3 is in 5, 6 down, yeah? What we call the H, the home position, yeah? And then the next lead, the 3 is in the wrong position. Yeah, it's in 5th place. And then a whole course goes by. There's another bob. There's the 3 in 5th place. Another whole course goes by. 3 is in 5th place. So you think, all right, okay. So if I'm ringing it, if I'm calling it from the 3, I call myself home, 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 wrong, wrong, wrong. And then this one here is making 4th. I make the bob. Yeah, so you have to imagine that the treble is position 1, then 4, 2, 3. So 3 is making 4ths. And then a whole plain course goes by, and the single, I'm making reverse thirds. Oh, that's exciting. Reverse thirds, halfway. And so that's why it says 3 is quite good for an observation. So it's unaffected for these first 6 calls. Yeah, so home, 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 wrong, wrong, wrong. So it's unaffected. And then it's affected there, makes the bob. And then a whole plain course goes by and it's affected at the single by making reverse thirds. But just to confuse, okay, it's not every lead, it's only showing you the bobbed or the leads that are affected by a call. Yeah. Okay, and now on the right-hand side, now for something completely different. An even more compressed notation where It's absolutely not showing you every lead. And in fact, these rows don't represent every bobbed lead. They're only showing you what we call the course ends. And you'll notice on all of these, as I look down, there's 120, there's 120, there's 240, there's 240, there's 6. You see the 6 is always in the home position. Yeah. So what the row that is being displayed here is at the end of one course, yeah, 5 leads, this is what you're going to get if you call us a wrong and a home. Yeah. So it's really, really, really compressed, really compact. It's not bothering with the treble. We've got rid of the treble. It's not bothering with plain leads. And in fact, it's not bothering with anything apart from the course end each time. So you look at these numbers and you think, what the heck is all this? And it's just a compressed way of representing the touch. And to read them, you'll notice that we start in rounds and it's got the calling positions across the top. And if I was to think about what does that mean for me calling it, so this is the 120 that we spoke about in the earlier session, where you do wrong, home, that's all. And all it's showing you here is that the course end. So the first course end, 6 is at home, but all the others are mucked up. So you've got 4, 5, and 2, 3. So 2, 3, and 4, 5 have basically swapped their positions. So bells 2 and 3 are over here. Bells 4 and 5 are up here on the front. Yeah. So we've just transposed those 2 pairs. So we do the same thing again, and it transposes them back again, and it's rounds. Isn't that nice? Okay. But as far as the diary is concerned, it's not interested in where's the treble, what are the plain leads, and what's any lead apart from the course end. And that's what it's showing you. And similarly here. So just the course ends. This one here, we can see how many courses are there? 1, 2, 3, that's 4 courses. We know that one course is 60 changes, 4 60s are 240, so that makes sense. And now this one's got that before position added in. What that's calling yourself to run out. Yeah. So I've called a singlet wrong, a singlet home, and then a couple of leads go by, and instead of making seconds, I say single. Well, actually, I will make seconds because it's a single. That's confusing, isn't it? And then home, single wrong, single home, bob home. So there we are, 240, 540. So these ones up here, they were just complete in themselves. This 540 here is a 3-part. It says here, repeat twice. Yeah. So I've done wrong and home and wrong. And we know that if we called a bob here at home, it would come round at 120, like it does up here. But instead of a bob, we do a single, and then let a whole course go by and call another single. Yeah. So what's that done is it's swapped the bells in thirds and fourths. So 3, 2, 4 becomes 3, 4, 2. Yeah. And look, there's that cyclical lead end, 3, 4, 2, 5, 6, and we saw that before. Yeah, over here. So you think, okay, 3 bells are cycling around, so it must be 3 times through as they cycle around. So 5 and 6 are in their home position. That's very nice. So I do it all again: wrong, single home, and that 3, 4, 2 will then transpose to 4, 2, 3, 5, 6. Do it all one more time: wrong, single home, and 4, 2, 3 transposes, cycles around to 2, 3, 4, and that's all. Very handy. Same idea. Here's another 540, bit of a variation on a theme. You get that same cyclical part end just there. How can I move this panel around? There we go. 720. Well, there's a selection of 720s here. I particularly like this one. I call this one on handbells a lot. People will know. Bob wrong, single wrong, bob wrong, single wrong, bob home. And on handbells, it's great because if I'm ringing 5, 6, the 6 is observation, and the 5 does a very predictable piece of work. So, I mean, you can't see it because it's only showing the the coarse end, which is a bit tedious, but at the first rung, the 5 makes fourths, and at the single, the 5 makes reverse thirds, which puts it back coursing. So you can see them there at the home position. 5 and 6 are at home. Then bob rung, the 5 will make fourths. And then at the single rung, the 5 will make reverse thirds, puts it back coursing again. And then a home at the end. And there you see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 courses. Yeah, so that's 240. And there's a cyclical lead end. Yeah, so instead of 2, 3, 4, I've got 4, 2, 3. It's cycled. It's transposed the other way around. So if I do all that again, 4, 2, 3 becomes 3, 4, 2. Do it all again, and it transposes 3, 4, 2 becomes 2, 3, 4, and that's 720 changes. Anyway, I think it's quite good. So just to summarize, you've got 3 different notation styles here. You've got the notation which is lead, 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 every lead. And then there's another style down here, which is not every lead, it's just the affected leads. And this very standard notation that you will see again and again, especially on numbers above 6 bells, it's just the calling position and the course end. And that's all it's going to give you. Oh, there's something interesting there. Okay, what does that bracket mean? It's sort of like an if. So basically, if you do single for Bob at A or B, you'll get your 720. Yeah. So sometimes it's in, sometimes it's a Bob, and sometimes it's a single. Yeah. Just follow the instructions there. There we go. Richard, well, can I stop there? Do you think? It's probably everybody's a bit brain dead.
Yeah.
Or maybe not.
I think that was very thorough, actually. Yeah.
Well, it's only 1 page, mate.
Yeah, there's a lot more pages of these.
That's the scary thing.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a useful page because it shows the 3 different styles.
Mm-hmm. So the style with the numbers, the 720 with the
Here.
Yeah. I think that's typical for more like Grandser kind of.
Yes. If you flick a few pages one way or the other, you'll for triples. Yeah, you don't see it in Grandser doubles, but certainly in triples and above.
Yeah. And then I think in the diary there's another way of showing they show the coursing order rather than the course ends.
I haven't seen that in the diary.
Maybe not the diary, but that's another way of the data.
Yeah.
The same thing being presented, just a different way.
Yes.
Perhaps more for peels. So cool.
But yeah, just think about it as a recipe. And if you follow the recipe, you'll have a fantastic meal.
As long as everyone else is following the recipe as well.
Yeah, well, that's right.
Are there any other questions? Everyone else is muted. Murray,
I've got a question, Christopher, and if you don't want to answer, or if you think that maybe we shouldn't talk about it, that's fine. But I don't know how to read the table on page 56 of the 2021 diary. So what year have you got there?
But is that the table of minor methods?
Yes. So it's got so yeah.
Yeah. So you on the left page, you've got surprise and delight minor tables, and then you've got your callings and your lead head groups.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, so this is kind of Murray, Luke, and me. If anybody else is interested, it's on the 2017 diary. It's on page 53, but it's the same stuff. So you've got 2 columns. One says calling from the 2nd, the other one calling from the 6th. That right?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, and then you've got lead head groups A through.
And then you've got A to M on the.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So something like CompLib or standard methods, or and in some of the diary ones that are there, it'll tell you what lead head group your method is. Yeah. And so let me find. So this is surprise and delight. So let's say Norwich surprise minor is lead head group M for Michael. Yeah. That's a few pages earlier. You with me?
What?
So-
So I'll just get the same year as you have. Was it 2017?
Yeah.
Green one. Yeah, okay.
Or
Or if you're looking at this year's Mario Luke, it's the very next page. So you've got page 56 is the table that you're asking about. And then on the next page, there's all these methods that have got
Oh,
numbers.
it's right there. Yes. Oh, I see. Yep. Thank you. Yep.
Sort of grouping things together, it gives them.
yeah, or for instance, so Cambridge is lead head group B, yeah, B for Bravo.
Yep. Oh, yes. Okay, I know what that is. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So let's say I'm calling Cambridge, and I'm calling from the 6. I can see that for lead head group B, if I call 3 homes, it's going to be 180 changes. Sorry, I lie. That's for a plain method, and you have to double it. It says somewhere, don't you, double it if it's a triple bob method. Yeah, so in the paragraph above that table, the links shown are for plain methods. Double them for treble dodging methods. Yeah, so if I'm calling Cambridge from the 6th, it's lead head group B. It's twice 180, which is 360. Yeah, how are you doing?
No. So.
Okay, all right. So
So-
I'm still ringing Cambridge.
So from 6, calling from 6B, and then under that is the number 8.
No, I've got a different table then.
This is page 56 of the 2021.
Yeah, well, I'm on 2017. My 56 is grand triples.
So I've got 2017. What page? Let's see,
53.
What page was it, Murray Luke, on the 2021?
56.
56. Let's have a look.
Yeah, the numbers are different. It's like the one in your
Oh,
2017 one is multiples of it almost.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the number of leads. So if it was a plain lead, you would multiply that number by 12. If it was a treble dodging method, you would multiply it by 24, which is the length of the lead.
Oh, well, why did they do that?
Right.
It's
okay.
much more sensible in the 2017 one.
The 2017 is much better because I suppose this table in the 2021 would consider really strange conditions like alliance methods or hybrid methods, which have an odd number of changes per lead. So it's not wrong, but it's just hyper convoluted.
Yeah, see, Murray looks regretting he asked the question now. No, it's a good question because
I am a bit sorry.
Yeah. But if you,
But I
I'll
can
tell you-
see in the 2017 one, I can see from the 6 home.
Yeah.
For a B method will give you 180, and you say you've got to double that to get
for a treble
360,
bob
for a
method, it's
treble.
360, correct. And if you look all the way down B to the okay, so the penultimate row where it's got wrong home wrong 3 times.
3 homes. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Keep going all the way down that table. So if I'm calling Cambridge from the 6th, and I'm calling wrong home wrong in brackets times 3.
Got it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
It says
360
360.
times 2, which is 720. Yeah. Well, thank heavens I didn't get the 2021 diary. All I can say.
My 2021 diary got more use than my 2020 diary did.
I have a simpler question, I guess. So this is back to the plain Bob Minor touches
Hmm.
that you were looking at. So the version that has the second notational option
Yeah.
that has the
Second
number of leads between
Calls. Yeah.
the calls. So you did mention earlier on in the first half of this talk that the one thing you should not do is count the leads in between.
I know.
So
because
presumably
it's so easy to.
if
yeah,
you're
it's
good
so
at this,
easy to
then you'd be
forget.
looking for something else then, rather
Yeah,
than just counting 5, because 5 I can't manage. I
Yeah,
can't
and
manage
it's got a handy hint at the bottom there that if you do it from the 3, yeah, and then
Yeah,
so
okay.
if you do it from the 3, then you call yourself 5,
Right.
6 down 3 times, then 5, 6 up 3 times.
Okay,
and
so
then-
when I say the third is a good observation, that means it's probably not a good idea to try this on any other bell,
Well,
unless you know what you're doing.
unless you know what you're doing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I have trouble counting to 2 or 3 some days.
Yeah, me too.
I think if you look at that touch, the 3 bit, is it home, then wrong, 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 and then
Make it, and then
make and make and
and
then
then the reverse thirds of the single.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good way. I mean, gee, I mean, I've bless him, James Smith, who's a brilliant ringer and conductor, and we were doing first and Stedman triples, and you've got blocks of 2 bobs and 4 bobs, and they come bang, 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 and you forget, have I called 4 bobs or have I called 3 bobs? How many have I called? So I've lost appeal that way, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's when I agree. Like you use another marker just to help keep count, because I've had done things like that before, and I know it's not part of this talk, but my backup is like coursing order. If I know from the thing that bell's going to be in a certain place, the coursing order, that tells me, I've done this 4 times, or I've done this 3 times, or whatever. But I'm not going to go into the details of that. But yeah, it's just like you said, you find another marker just to help keep yourself on track.
Yeah.
Isn't there some famous Peel band that came from England to ring at the Swan Bells that were ringing Bristol Max, and they got off the plane and they got into the tower and the conductor called 3 homes?
Pass. Brilliant.
And got the shock of his life when it came around and they didn't have time to start again.
Oh no, that's terrible.
I think it's one of Richard Offan's stories.
cool. Well, are there any other questions or comments or?
So I suppose, yeah, my invitation, my challenge is that when you do get back into the tower, if you haven't been doing any bob calling yet, then this is your chance. You're among friends, and you know, if at first you don't succeed, at least you're going to fail forward. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Chris. Both excellent talks.
Well, you're very kind.
You've
Thank you.
been speaking for an hour, so thanks very much.
Yeah. I'm
Next
sorry
week,
about the scary hairdo.
I think we all have one of them at the moment, right? Unless you've sheared it off. So next week we've got 2 talks by 2 different speakers. So we've got conducting 7 triples from Peter Harrison, and we've also got calling Granta triples from Andrew Davies.
Boom.
So yeah, so looking forward to that. I know. And yeah, so I guess I'll see you all next week.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for setting it up, Richard.